It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Very good morning. Welcome back to your feel-good kickstart to the weekend. Yes, it is here, and what a weekend in the world of sports. Hey, final for the Cheetahs and the Bulls as the Currie Cup enters its most exciting final in recent years. And, of course, Mamelodi Sundowns up against Zamalek in the second leg of the CAF Champions League final. To preview those games as well as the other standout matches this weekend, we've got Sport 24 chief writer Rob Houwing joining us this morning. And Somizi has snuck in here with rusk and coffee in hand. Good morning, sir. We're going to let you settle in nicely. And we know how Somizi loves his sport. Now, awesome having you and the Metro team here. Rob, thank you so much for joining us. A weekend of high stakes all round, and I think so much focus on the Springbok Rugby Indaba that is happening at the moment. Of course, you've got a bit of an inside window there. Are you filled with hope? Are you still feeling pessimistic? What are your thoughts coming out of the Indaba thus far?
Hope springs eternal. You have to try and be optimistic because there hasn't been too much to get excited about in what's been a fairly grim year for South African rugby in general. So the Indaba, look, there are mixed views about it. I almost think that there were too many people giving too much input over a very sort of concertinaed period. How much sort of real value will come out remains to be seen. I think we'll only really gauge that down the line. But it was a brave venture. Some people would say Springbok coach in his first year, maybe perhaps a little bit too spooked by the results. Perhaps, yeah. I think if he'd got 6 out of 9 rather than 4 out of 9 at this stage, we wouldn't have had this in Indaba, quite frankly. I think it's almost a panic measure. But look, let's give Alistair his due. He was prepared to entertain the idea of having a lot of input from other people, which is brave. A lot of people have egos that preclude, taking advice from anybody. So hats off to Alistair for doing that. And let's see what comes out of it. Getting things down into real fine detail is going to be quite difficult because, frankly, the statements that I've heard have all been quite similar, to what we've heard in previous years, with coaches saying, well, this is the way we want to play, etc., etc., a unique South African way. I'm not sure we still really know what that unique way is.
What is the unique South African way? That's the question. We need a cat amongst the pigeons there, I think.
Very much so.
But, of course, it will all play out in that Currie Cup final. Somizi, are you going to be travelling to the Currie Cup final?
No.
It's in the stronghold. Bloemfontein, of course, is going to come alive this weekend. We know the Cheetahs are up against the Bulls. Have you ever gone to a rugby game?
Yes, I have. My first dance gig was at the Rugby World Cup in 1994, I think. And then my second rugby experience was in 1994.
Okay, we're going to bump it up to 1995. Are we going to say if you're ever going to go to a rugby game, that's probably the rugby game to get to if you're going to certainly be a part of history being made. And we're going to hope that history is going to be made this weekend again for our Bloemfontein side that has been unbeaten all season. Yes, we know a shortened format of the Currie Cup, but that's taken nothing away from the Cheetahs' performance. Unbeaten. Can the Bulls beat them?
I think the Bulls can, but I think the sentimental attachment for a lot of South Africans, the fans of the bigger unions all sort of have the Cheetahs as their second team a lot of the time because the Cheetahs get bludgeoned every year by poaching from the big unions, and yet they always bounce back. They always have an amazing amount of resilience. They're 9 out of 9 this year, Graham, which is a fantastic achievement. They won all 8 of their round-robin games. They thrashed the Lions 55-17 in their semi, which really got people quite upbeat about the Cheetahs, getting it right. They're beginning to get it right in terms of a game plan and playing a nice brand of rugby. Yeah. But the Bulls will also throw the ball around a little bit. I don't think they're quite ready to sort of dominate physically up front to the extent that they'll think we can play a sort of conservative game. I think they'll also try to sort of throw the pill around a little bit. And we could actually get an unusually sort of open final. Having said that, of course, it'll probably be 9-6, but let's hope that we actually see plenty of tries and a bit of a hint of the sort of spirit that we're going to see, hopefully, from the Springboks in the next year.
I was going to say, maybe therein lies our South African rugby, free-flowing rugby, scoring lots of points, and I think most notably the Cheetah getting their defence down as well. Yeah. Rob, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Enjoy the rest of the rugby drama that plays out, of course, once we announce that Springbok squad this weekend. But awesome to connect with you, and thank you for pulling no punches when it comes to South African rugby. I think we need that. Somizi, I might even get you a ticket to go and watch the rugby, so we can add to that roster. And, of course, some other things to look out for this weekend. The CAF Champions League second leg final. Sundowns have an opportunity to lift a continental trophy. That's when they take on Zamalek, and they go in with a 3-0 aggregate lead. So plenty of high-stakes sporting action on the way this weekend.